ミュージックスタート。
Welcome to another video. This time staring the last job missing on this series, which is not less significant than any of the others. Far from it, the dancer could actually be the most unique among them, so let us start. First of all, like always, note that each and every job can and will clear all sorts of content, regardless of the choice you have made, as long as you're sticking to the general party composition, featuring 2 tanks, 2 healers and 4 DPS jobs. And even here, there may be fights where it can break that setup. Okay, let us directly hop into the most crucial specialty the dancer is bringing to the table, namely its undisputed supporting power, which is drawn out of a whole plethora of spells. But let me cover your close position or dance partner first, with which the dancer is able to choose a specific party member to push its damage up like no other job is able to. Forget about astrologian cards, bard hymns and ballads. The dancer is the true god of support, and if you ever ran content with a dance partner stacked upon you, you will instantly realize the damage push it provides. Which means the dancer is sharing benefits from its devilment and standard finish with its dance partner, while also contributing to the general DPS output of the whole party with its technical finish. The big thing about it may sound weak on the start, as devilment is kinda more like a dragoon's battle litany on steroids, but the real damage boost comes from standard finish, providing a consistent 5% damage boost to the dance partner, paired with another 5% during the 20-second duration of technical finish, plus devilment, which is quite a bunch of damaging support. And during your cooldown phase, the dancer is the best choice to lift up another party member into heights he or she has never imagined to be. So if you're looking for the only real support job this game has to offer, there is no way leading elsewhere than to the dancer. Apart from the offensive supporting power, the dancer paired up with the bard and raising potential of summoner and red mage maybe, kinda resembles the only defensive and healing support in this game right now, at least among DPS jobs and passively. While improvisation may not be very effective due to being channeled and hindering your chakrams to hit targets, it does become a solid option when the boss is disappearing and preparing a devastating attack, where healing output support is always welcomed, and increasing your esprit gauge through continuous dancing is useful as well. But above that and your role's native mitigation spell Shield Samba, the dancer also has access to Curing Waltz, which does sound a bit lackluster on the first look, but as your dance partner target is also healing itself and surrounding party members, this stacks up to a remarkable healing and can truly make the difference between life and death, at least when your healers are super busy raising your party, because your tanks didn't know that a boss with 2 targets could require you to split them. Anyways, while these are the big strengths and advantages the dancer has to offer, it doesn't disappoint on its own damage. Okay, on paper and when I played it recently, I could not pull off the same numbers that I get on the other DPS jobs, but the effective contribution combined with that damage is definitely on par with the competition, especially when you're a dance expert that sometimes is able to pull the numbers of bards and even some red mages. And this combined with a very strong AoE damage output, which if used properly can beat everything else. Especially when we're talking about the 2 target situation, where jobs that have dots at their disposal shine brightly. The dancer also takes its benefits from it because of the steps being AoE attacks, and as you're using them anyways, damage is simply increased for each target in range. And when you got your technical or standard finish prepared just before entering the actual combat in a big pack of enemies,
that is power.
And this directly brings us to another unique trait and feature with many upsides and very little downsides. Your dances, also known as standard or technical step. The first being a 2 or 3 step move, the last being a 5 or 6 step move, where the steps you dance don't require you to be in combat, and the finish, which is the attack providing buffs to your party members and damaging your enemy, can be kept back for quite a good amount of time. One thing to note here is that you can use these skills before combat, but the actual balancing demands exactly that. So this is not like, oh nice, I can prepare these skills and pull off a hell of a DPS advantage. This means your opener damage is insane, but it will normalize later on. On the other hand, if there's any intermission phase or a time when no targets can be hit, but you're still able to control your character and don't have a long cutscene coming, preparing these steps where other jobs have to stand idle without any good benefit for waiting, the dancer outperforms its general value easily, and you can even get close to the DPS output of the leading DPS because of the seconds you want for preparing your dancing moves. Of course, these steps, technical step and finish especially, will lead you to the highest damage number you can see on screen right now. I believe when buffed and geared properly, a 200k technical finish is possible. And if you're a junkie for these big numbers, the dancer outperforms even black mages, samurai and ninjas. Last but not least, let us talk about mobility, where the dancer definitely outclasses all other jobs again. Not only being on the ranged physical supporter bracket, which is the best role for constantly being able to move while performing your rotation and skills without any interruption, but that do share bard and machines as well. What makes it even better on the dancer is En Avant, the signature ability that dancer has access to, with which you're able to dash into a direction of choice by performing movement into the chosen direction. Especially when you're short on time or you want to optimize your uptime a bit more, this skill works wonders and I'm always enjoying to use it, even when it can take you too far occasionally and you're performing a classical yeet off the stage. And guys, as this job is closing the series for Shadowbringers, there's actually a bonus reason I want to present here. Ricardo. Embrace the meme, show me your best Ricardo glams in our Discord and become the Brazilian Eero Dancer of Darkness. But of course, when being honest about that additional reason, there's another very enjoyable trait that Dancer's offering, namely a vast selection of procs and RNG that your rotation does not depend on, but it's super cool to have a proc heavy encounter, and this will always put a smile to your face when you have expected less. Yet, even when Ricardo's presence may be strong on the Dancer, there are some downsides I want to talk about briefly. First of all, yes, we already talked about it, but the personal damage output is definitely behind the other DPS jobs. And when actually nobody's having a clue about the difference between A DPS and R DPS, your performance may look weak in comparison to the other party members around. Still, as the dancer is kinda popular for being the ultimate supporter job, and when people have watched this or other dancer videos, it will not be a surprise, and most of the times they will stand in line to beg for your precious close position and dance partner buff. Yet, when filming some footage for this video, especially when talking about duty finder situations with random people at your side, performing a solid opener can become quite difficult due to the fact that many tanks seem to have a limited time frame and will not help out their local dancer, red mage, ninja or other very preparation heavy jobs by using a countdown before pulling. On the other hand, by using the standard step opener, this won't affect your DPS too badly, and we are still talking about duty finder content where DPS optimization is not necessary anyways, because you won't run into an enrage situation. So what else is there to say? Check out the many dancer guides on my channel, and where I want to thank Mary again for providing such a wonderful foundation to its theory, and if that is not enough, visit Salted Final Fantasy XIV for an in-depth analysis. A very special thanks to all of you for enjoying this series, and thank you all for your feedback and positive reactions you shared across the whole comment section. I will return to finish my true beginner job guides and push out some more info about all sections of this game that my channel is still missing. So stick around and see you in the second version of this series in Endwalker. May you ever walk in the light of Ricardo.